There's so much in today's gospel. Excuse me a second. There's so much in today's gospel that I'm only going to comment about a couple things and leave the rest to your prayerful meditation. First of all, where do bad things come from? That's the beginning of the gospel. It's a question the people asked Jesus 2,000 years ago, and it's a question that we still ask ourselves and others today. Where do bad things come from? Here the disciples asked Jesus, Rabbi, who sinned? The man was born blind, you know. This man or his parents? That he was born blind. See, we always think there's a cause, a reason, personally. A lot of people think that all the bad things that happen to us come upon us because we've sinned or so on. And Jesus answered, neither this man nor his parents sinned. He was born blind so that God's works might be revealed in him. Think about the virus that we're going through right now. Some people are starting to say, well, this is God's punishment on the human race for whatever reasons, X, Y, and Z. I do not believe that. Jesus doesn't teach that. Now, people more important than I am and much smarter than I am say, don't worry, God's in charge. I don't know what that means, because I believe God does not control everything. Why do I say that? Because we have free will. If we have free will, there is one thing God cannot control, and that's us. And again, I'm not trying to be stupid, but whether I stand here or I stand here, that's my decision. God doesn't control that. And so, whatever bad things happen to us, whether it's the virus or perhaps personally you're going through some tragedy or whatever, it's not God's punishment. God only loves us. And I use this example too so often. You parents, don't you love your kids? You would never do anything to harm them. Well, if God is our loving Father, our parent, we're His children, God will never do anything to hurt us, to harm us. That's the message of Jesus, and I don't think we get it yet. Jesus was born as the presence of God to try to get it through our thick skulls that God's on our side. God is not up there, out there somewhere, giving us tragedies to shape us up. That's the old-fashioned notion of God. Jesus said, I'm on your side, I'm walking with you. Now, the gospel is about blindness. And you can think about it physically. Have you ever been at table and you said to somebody, pass the ketchup? And they said, oh, you're dummy, it's right in front of you. You didn't see it. And it's hard to see ourselves. We are blinded to ourselves because we're so comfortable with the way we do things. Down in the office, for instance, I have a certain way of doing things, and it's very comfortable for me. But I would guess some of the things I do drive the rest of the staff nuts. But I can't see it. I'm blind. And now today we're encouraged to think deeper. Not only physical blindness or not seeing the things right ahead of us, but interiorly, some of the blindness in our eyes. What blinds us? Could be self-centeredness, self-concerns, self-pity. Now we're going through an era of great fear. People are panicking over this virus. That can blind us. That can prevent us from moving forward. And so that's what we have to deal with now. This whole thing is serious. And this is no time to be complacent. We are challenged to do everything possible to protect ourselves and to eliminate the virus. You've heard all this before. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, keep distance, and so on. But we don't control everything. Whenever you get sick, did you decide to get sick? No, it just comes upon us. So, and as I said last week, I'm a man of great faith. I don't believe in being complacent, but I know I can't control everything. I have great faith in God that whatever happens to me or us, we'll get through this. And that's the gospel meditation today. That through the Lord Jesus, believing that he is with us to strengthen and guide us, that we can get through it. Now, some of you have the little black book that we've been giving out. This black book goes through today's gospel each day of the week, this week. And they give further meditations on it. If you don't have a little black book, stop in the office, or maybe better, let me know and I'll mail you a copy, because the meditations are extremely good on this particular gospel. But now in our lives today, what we're encouraged to do is to put ourselves in God's presence and trust in God and not give in to fear, not give in to self-centeredness or self-pity. And we have to, as I said earlier, we don't just have a good day, we make it a good day. To get ourselves forward through this, we have to push ourselves. If you're homebound or you can't go out, if possible, go out for a walk or sit in the sun. Or if you can't do that, just sit in a chair, straight back chair, sit up straight, put your hands on your knees, and take 10 long, deep breaths. It'll calm our spirit. It'll calm our fears. And don't give yourself into watching all the news and all the things on television or things that you hear people say, what's going on in Italy or wherever, because that worry, that fear can make us sick. And we have to move beyond that and trust in God. Mr. Rogers said that when I was a boy, I would see some scary things in the news. My mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And that's what we have to become. And last week I talked about this book, The Universal Christ by Richard Rohr. He is the founder of the Center of Action and Contemplation in Albuquerque. And he talks about this fear. And I'm going to read it again. Some of you heard this before. Brain studies have shown that we are hardwired to focus on the problems at the expense of positive vision. The human brain wraps around fear and problems like Velcro. We dwell on bad experiences long after the fact. We spend vast amounts of energy anticipating what might go wrong in the future. Conversely, positivity and gratitude and simple happiness slide away like cheese on hot Teflon. I encourage you not to take my word for it. Watch your own brain and emotions. You will quickly see there's a toxic attraction to the negative, whether it's a situation at work, a bit of incriminating gossip you overheard, or sad development in the life of a friend. True freedom from this tendency is exceedingly rare, since we're ruled by automatic responses most of the time. Automatic responses. We have to deliberately bring Christ into our lives as the light of the world. That his love, his guidance is with us. So going back to Mr. Rogers, as I said earlier, our staff is here asking, how can we help you? What do you need? As I say, over half of the staff is here every day. Call us, text us, email. Together we can get through this. But then secondly, that each one of us has to ask, how can we help others? That's the Mr. Rogers. You will always find people who are helping. And one of the best ways for us to move on is not just to center on ourselves, our worries, our fears, but to think about the needs of others. Do you know somebody who is alone? Call them. I like the telephone because I like to hear the human voice. To me, that's more consoling than texting and emailing. You know somebody that perhaps needs some help, or just a friend. Call and say, how you doing? Maybe tell a joke, smile. Because it's by helping others that we bring ourselves together as a family of faith.
We thank you for watching the homily during the Lenten season, joining in our prayerful service as we prepare for the death and resurrection of the Lord Jesus. You're always welcome to join us in person, or if you wish, you can always visit us on mysaintelizabeth.com or watch us on Facebook. A blessed Lent to you, looking forward to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus.